Hello and welcome to Faces of Semmelweis. My name is Evelina and I will be your host for today. Today we have a special guest with us, Zuka Darjania from Georgia, who is a third-year medical student and an awardee of the Stipendium Hungaricum Student Excellence Award. Hi.
Hi, Evelina.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you get to Semmelweis? How did you start your medical career?
Actually, I would say that the way I started my medical career and also interest in medicine was not linear, because in my childhood I really wanted to become an actor, and I had the privilege of playing a lot of roles in the Georgian cinema, and it was like Christmas related movies. And not only that, I also played with probably the most impactful and great director, like Elder Shingalaya's movie In the Chair.
Nice.
But after that, I remember everything shifted in the 7th grade. Actually, I remembered every second of the class. I was sitting, and there was a teacher who was teaching us the subject called the sciences, or the nature, and the first lesson was about the cell. And I think at the time I still feel the shivers from it, because I saw the cell and I got super interested in it, even though I didn't really know at the time what was all the story about behind of that. So I think after that lesson, everything has shifted in my life, and my interest in art transformed into the interest in science. But internally, I feel nothing has really changed. I just shifted the outlet I tried to express myself with. And after that, many things happened. I got more interested in biology and physics. Those were two of my favorite subjects, and I think that led me to the medicine, and now I'm here.
We're really happy to have you here, and that's interesting. I don't think I've ever met anybody who would find a cell as fascinating, especially in such an early grade, 7th, right, you mentioned. And that's quite interesting. So a cell brought you to Semmelweis, a cell brought you to med school.
In a way, yeah, because I still feel the fire inside of me whenever I have to deal with any type of cellular processes. It's still my favorite thing till this day, the cellular physiology. It's biophysics, biochemistry, everything. So to me, the medicine is an opportunity to open a book of biology and inside the human, because that's something I'm the most interested in. And I see it as a door through the clinical practice, but also the scientific approach. And I feel that the Semmelweis allows you to dive deep into the both areas of it. And also, as a Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship awardee, when I was searching for the opportunities to study medicine in English in the Europe, there was not many opportunities. Definitely. And the best one was Semmelweis. So I gave my shot, and now I'm here. I'm very happy for it.
That's really cool. Was it hard for you to prepare to be admitted, or was it generally an easy process after high school?
I think to me, in general, if we see the big picture, it was really hard, because till the 7th grade, as I said, I was more involved in the national theater. I was playing there for 2 years, everything. So I didn't really have enough discipline and skill set to deal with the studying process, the everyday process that you have to go through during your high school or the middle school years. So after that, after the 7th grade which was the pivotal moment, I tried to I tried to build my discipline, the strength inside of me. So I was studying really hard, because there was things I had to start from the level 0. Especially the math, which was a challenge for me at the time. But I had an amazing teacher, actually, at the middle school at the time, who inspired me and who told me that everything is possible. His name is Datot Amalashvili, actually. And I think I believed in myself after that. And I was studying 2-3 times more than my classmates did. And then I participated in a lot of national Olympiads. I won the National Olympiad of Biology in Georgia, was the finalist of the National Olympiad of Physics. So the math got better.
That's for sure.
After times that at the time it was such a struggle. I hated every second of dealing with the numbers, but then I fell in love with it.
From hate to love.
Yeah, for real. And I think all these experiences of me made it a bit easier to actually apply for Semmelweis University. But in a big picture as a story, it was really hard because I had a lot of like ups and downs.
I mean, yeah, considering you started with art, do you miss that part of your life, for example? I'm pretty sure you really enjoyed it. You loved being in theater and in movies as well.
I think I did, but at the same time, as I told you, I don't feel anything different inside of me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's still the same, because in a way, both art and science, which is something I'm like primarily interested in, even in the medicine, deal with the same thing. So you're trying to figure out the story at first. And you have a lot of missing pieces in the story, and then after aligning all these things together, you are trying to embody that. And to me, that's how I try to look at science and medicine. So I just I think I'm doing the same thing, just in a very different way.
Yeah. No wonder they say medicine is art. Really makes sense now, especially even more, I'm pretty sure. With the school load, because you said you've struggled with it before and it was completely different from middle school and high school, and then you got to med school, and of course you had to completely rearrange your studying schedule and the way you approached subjects and the way you approached studying. How do you manage now that you're in third year, and how have you managed through your first and second year as well? Managing everything, work and life balance, school, all the workload.
It's definitely a challenge for me because I try to take the most. Like whenever I see an opportunity, I try to snatch it because I feel that the time is very limited, and it's my philosophy to live in the moment. So I think based on that, this blade has two parts because on one hand, I do research at the Biophysics Institute and the Hungarian Center of Excellence in the Molecular Medicine, and like I'm also a TA in the biophysics, and all the subjects we have to study in our regular curriculum, but at the same time it's really exhausting.
For sure.
But I think in terms of management, I would call it more like a supporting system, because I was like super lucky to have a friends and a family who supports me with all their hearts. And whenever I feel small or like shattered into pieces, and I think everybody has this moment in their life, I'm always thinking of somebody else, or I'm always talking to somebody else who helps me go through the process. And even if I'm like 3,000 kilometers away from my home, and actually all of my friends from Georgia are scattered around the world, so even if there's a huge distance between us physically, like emotionally and spiritually, we're still together, and I think that helps me a lot. And even in the Semmelweis, I think I was lucky to find the community who thinks like me and who has a lot of fun while they deal with their studies, and not only studies. So I think all these things help me to manage my time, because in reality, to be fair, I don't really have like work-life balance. Like I'm 24/7 in the lab or at the library or in the class. So my time management is based on emotions and my spirituality rather than the actual like physical time management.
I like that. And having a support system is extremely important. Of course, your family that has supported you throughout your whole journey of applying and coming to Semmelweis, but also having friends that you've met here who are going through these struggles with you, I think.
And in a way, they're also a family.
Yeah,
they're family you find here.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I think that's the super important part. And I want to tell everybody who wants to study abroad to also not only think about their academic journey, but also about the journey of their emotions and their spirituality, because I think those two are together and they're not the separate things. And if one is off, it obviously affects the other one.
Totally agree.
But like I'm saying that I was really lucky because I think I met the right and the best people at the right time.
I'm really glad. I think that's very important, and it's really fantastic that you did. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who do struggle with that, and so maybe they do use your advice and try to actually maybe get out of the bubble a little bit and find somebody there who can support them.
I think in the beginning it's like very uncomfortable.
Of course.
But maybe you should be a little brave at that very moment and remind yourself that like, oh, like this feels super bad, but maybe it's gonna feel much better, and the risk is always worth to take it. I feel like it.
Exactly. Could you please tell us about your academic journey so far? Have you maybe experienced any challenges, any difficulties along the way, and how did you overcome them?
I think it's hard for me to describe my academic journey in just one word because it was really complex and it is changing, I think, every day based on the departments and subjects we have to study and work with. So, especially in the first year, it was really hard because the anatomy, completely different subject from everything else I've ever dealt with in the past, and all the spatial intelligence you have to make out of nowhere and wake up inside of you was definitely a challenge. And also the fact that so many exams and at the Semmelweis University are oral was also something I had to adjust with. And to me that was really a challenge, but I think it came with an experience to overcome those. And I would say that the journey of the process was not really easy for me, because I think I haven't really failed anything before the Semmelweis University. And at this university, I realized that the failing can be a part of the journey and it's not the end. But the first is always difficult.
Definitely.
I think everybody experiences this in some ways, right?
For sure, for sure. The
So-
first is the worst. You feel like, oh my god, what is happening?
Exactly. And but the important thing is to get back. And I think I learned now really well how to get back, and also the supporting system I mentioned. I think they play a huge part in that, because this is funny that this quote comes in my mind right now, but like, as Lady Gaga says, that there can be 100 people in the room and 99 cannot believe in you, but if there's only one person, like, you can make it. And I feel like this one person can be even you, especially in the exam period, which is so stressful, so packed, when we have to consolidate all of our knowledge together. So maybe the most challenging part for me academically is an exam period, where I have to try to draw everything in my mind and then present it in a right way, in the most correct and scientific way, to the expert of the field, which is sitting right in front of me and waiting for my interpretations and facts based on the subject.
That's definitely true. And yeah, I think exams, everybody can agree, is literally the hardest part about studying in medical school, studying in specifically Semmelweis, because as you mentioned, yes, most exams are oral, and definitely something very difficult to overcome is after you fail, you have to get up and just keep going. But you've definitely persisted. You're in third year now and you keep on going. Could you maybe run us through your regular day? So you go to classes, what do you do throughout the day? How do you study? Do you have any specific schedule?
I would say I have 6 regular days,
Okay.
because like every day is different for me. Generally in the morning about like 7 a.m. I go to the lab, I run some experiments, then I run to classes, attend everything, then I go back to the lab, do the transfection or something, and after that after that I have my study sessions in the library, then getting some rest, and then going back to the library again, and then I'm sleeping at home. So yeah.
Wow.
And the exception I would say is Friday and maybe the first half of Saturday, because I use this time to recharge with my friends, call my family members for a long time, not just like a quick chat. And my regular day also changes like every day, so I can't tell you an exact frame, but generally it looks like that. So a lot of running.
That is a lot of... You said 7 a.m. lab. That is
Yeah,
insane.
generally 7 a.m.
I'm complaining about an 8 a.m. class and you're here 7 a.m. lab. Sure, let me run an experiment. Easy, like no problem. You got me worried there for a second when you said that this was basically like how your week went until Friday. I was really glad to hear that you rest on Friday and half of the Saturday. I think resting is extremely important. This is something that all of us need, and we really need to pay attention to that. So that's great. But you're doing fantastic. So of course, all of these academic struggles and working so hard has definitely paid off for you, because you've recently received your Stipendium Hungaricum Student Academic Excellence Award. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It was probably a very, very hard journey for you. Could you tell us a little bit about how you feel and how did you get this award to begin with?
I feel amazing. It's so valuing that the university or the committee, I don't exactly know who decides to give this award, but it feels amazing to have your work recognized. And I think since everybody at the medical school has some kind of imposter syndrome, because you miss some things that you wish you did not, after that, receiving such an award is makes me super happy. And it's really hard to find words because exactly.
No, for sure, but that's just fantastic. So this award is fully based on your academic excellence, from what I understand. So your GPA.
I think main part is GPA, but also your extracurriculars and your supercurriculars, like a research, is a big part of it. So they want to hear about your experience as a student in general. And since it's an academic excellence award, I think the main criteria is your grades and your research that you do, and maybe some teaching, because I also mentioned that.
The GTA as well.
Yeah. TA in
So
biophysics, which is an amazing experience.
That is just fantastic. So not only do you do teaching assistants, not only do you do TDK, you also have amazing GPA, and you got this award. It's really fantastic.
I think it's the first criteria, the GPA, but I'm not sure. I think the committee decides. Yeah.
Either way, you got it. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Were you the only student selected from the whole university?
Yeah, I was the only student.
Okay. So all of that above, and you're literally the best in the university. That's fantastic.
We didn't frame it that way because I feel every student who's a medical student, and not only medical student, in the healthcare, is best in their own way, because you have to overcome so many things in your life in order to help somebody else, whether it's going to be through science or through clinical work. That's the job we all have to do. So I wouldn't call myself best. I think everybody who's in the field is the best, but it's really valuing so much to be recognized as such through this award, and I'm very happy to take it.
That's for sure. I'm pretty sure it even will push you forward to continue excelling and continue doing so much better and growing and becoming better as well. So once again, congratulations. I know I've said it like 3 times by now, but I think it's really amazing, so you deserve that for sure. As an awardee of the scholarship, is there something you would like to share with other students who are maybe interested in getting this award or would like to excel academically and maybe get a scholarship?
I think I would advise them to figure out their own story at first. And maybe the high school years are the best time for this. Because we have a lot of free time in the high school and less responsibilities. And you can try yourself in many directions. Read fiction, or watch the great movies, or just go out from your house and walk around the places you find interesting. And I think after figuring out your story, it's gonna align very well, because the journey that you have to take will become more clear to see. But also there are some things apart from this which are just must. So first, I think for the scholarship, it's very important to have a strong academic background, to have a good grades. And even though grades not always define your actual knowledge, it's important on the paper. So it's super important to have a good grades and to have the extracurriculars and your interests aligned in a way which tell a story. And I think with these two things together, and also these extracurriculars to break it down, because at the time I remember when I was in a high school, I was always wondering what are the extracurriculars. So in my case, it was the National Olympiads in biology and physics, which is about mastering the sciences. But also I was participating in the international tournament of young naturalists. It was called like that. I got into the national team of Georgia and represented Georgia internationally. There was 22 teams, and this is also science-based competition, but in that competition you prepare research. So you grow a lot and you work with a team. We were 5 people in the team, and we basically almost lived together for 3 months to prepare for this competition. And other than that, there are many things creatively. I think I would ask people who want to pursue a scholarship to explore themselves in, to write, or to do the things which might be a deviation from their main journey, but at the same time, the experiences they gain there is super valuable. For example, I write in the student newsletter of Semmelweis, and I just put there a lot of stories I find interesting or I come across, and also have like a column there of like a rare diseases. So that's like my hobby, for example, and I get a lot of rest while I write and put these pieces all together. So maybe like if you figure out your medium, which makes you feel comfortable, whether it's a video or the text or the painting or something, that would really help you in the process of a scholarship. Because I feel like in every scholarship committee is focused on filtering out like some of the things which are just must to have for the competence, I would say, to qualify for the scholarship. But after surpassing that, it's all about the main, like, I say this word a lot, but story, main like outlet of the person who's applying for it. And I think I would try to develop that more. And I'm still trying. Like, I think it's like ongoing process, never ends, right?
For sure, never. And you're definitely right. Of course, you have achieve academic excellence, so you have a certain GPA. And of course, they would be looking for something else. Are you participating in extracurriculars? Are you doing research? Are you doing something outside of medical school? Because of course, our life doesn't just revolve around this. And even when we become doctors, most likely we're not just gonna go to work and then come home and do nothing.
True. But also, there's a pragmatic part in this. Because I have read a lot of researches about the fact that, especially in healthcare, the burnout rates are skyrocketing. And I was interested, what does the research say about this? Because, we read a lot about the molecular cell biology, biophysics, this, that, but what about the human part? And it turns out that the thing which makes you most resilient is the things outside of your main path. So if you're really comfortable with some kind of a medium, or not only medium, or like supporting systems, or something where you shine creatively, the chances are much less to have a burnout, because you always have something to run away to if you feel like threatened or uncomfortable or super stressed by the main path. And like healthcare, even though it's super interesting and something I would choose, even if I had like 10 lives, I would still choose healthcare like 10 times. And I'm really confident when I say this. I feel like it's very, very important. Maybe it has a similar kind of importance to have something outside of healthcare, to just forget everything about it for some time and just devote yourself to that.
Yeah, you gotta let your mind rest just a little bit, because if you constantly just do the same thing and you just study for, of course, your subjects in medical school, you will burn out. How come did you start writing in a newsletter?
So basically, I was writing, I think, always, here and there, but in the ESA, like one of the student organization of the Semmelweis University, there's a newsletter, and there was an opportunity to apply. So I did, and I didn't write things related to the university. I tried to showcase the things I'm interested in outside of university. Like, for example, this is in October, a Halloween month, so I wrote a lot about the vampire castles in and around the Hungary, because the history of vampires in Hungary are really intertwined. Like the most famous vampire, Dracula, is from the Transylvania region, and even the other, maybe the most ruthless vampire, who was actually a woman, Erzsébet Báthory, was a Hungarian woman, and there's a lot of legends about this person. So, and also I love vampire castles. I'm obsessed with vampires, so I made a research and I also made a plan how to visit those. So if you would like to visit the vampire-inspired castle in Budapest, you can go to Városliget Castle, which is the parts of it is based on the Corvin Castle in Transylvania. Then you can feel the style of like glampires, like glamorous vampires.
I love that. I can't wait for the the newsletter to drop, and then I will definitely read it up. Can't wait. Actually, we'll then have to go and check the castle as well.
For real. We can go together.
Yes! Oh my god, I would love that. I would actually love that. Definitely have to do that. Are there any other extracurricular activities that you do outside of this? Maybe if you have time, because I see you're very busy with everything. Do you get a chance to do anything else?
I think apart from being a teaching assistant, which is a huge part of my week, and research and all the newsletter things, all the free time I have, I try to spend with my friends and my family. I try to recharge, have fun, and prepare for the next week. So I think that's almost everything I do. But here and there's always like a little like project or the things which appear, and I take it.
I love that. That's very nice.
I think you, like, for example, in your case, like, you travel a lot
Yeah.
and you explore the world a lot, right? And
I also try
how
to
does it
find
help you?
outlets. It helps a lot, of course. And just like you, for example, you said you write for the newsletter. I think that's amazing. I also try to do something else. So I always find new hobbies, something to get my mind to rest for at least a little bit, 1 hour, 2 hours. If I travel, I also study while I do travel because there's no going around it. But that also helps me to just turn my mind off for a second and not think about that. Yeah, I'm a medical student. So very similar.
And many things can be that, like, for example, I know some people who have an amazing music taste and like build the playlist and make the playlist and do some crazy sequences I'm always so happy to listen to. But for example, I can't really make that. I don't have a talent for that. So, and I also feel that that can be considered as an art in a way.
Sure,
yeah, because it's all about what makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. And you just find your little outlet, whatever makes you feel better, whatever you're capable of doing time-wise. And so you just find a little outlet for sure, always. And that's the best thing. So you're third-year student. So you have, if we don't count finishing this year, of course, because I'm pretty sure you will succeed, you will have 3 more years to finish medical school. And then the most important part, deciding what your specialty is going to be. Have you given it a thought?
I think about it a lot, and I think that's a very important decision to make, which I haven't fully have a conclusion on. The one thing I know for sure is that I want to reach the area of medical genetics, but I'm thinking of going there either through endocrinology or oncology right now. But I'll figure out probably that after some clinical experience, because right now most of my experience is in the basic sciences and I see those things from a distance. So right now this is my goal, but we'll see how it goes.
Very soon. I think, if I'm not mistaken, oncology and endocrinology are roughly 5th year subjects, I think. So very soon you will find out, and hopefully you will know exactly what you want to do. But it's very interesting. How come you're interested in genetics?
I think from the very beginning, first of all, like I grew up in the class. I had a classmate who had the Down syndrome, and it was part of my everyday life. And then after I grew up and realized that there's some kind of mechanism behind of it, I got super interested in the process. And also at the Semmelweis University, my first research work was in the genetics department, actually in the second semester of the first year. And that fueled my interest even more. And even back to Georgia, I know some like clinical geneticists and doctors who work closely with the area. And since this is, and in Hungary too, like I did the interview with Dr. Molnar, you did, Maria, who's head of the Rare Diseases and the Genomics Center at the Semmelweis University, which is a huge facility that deals with all the rare diseases and the genetic abnormalities all over the country. It's like the big center. So I think all these experiences combined made me more interested in medical genetics. And also I feel that in the future, and I agree with the head of the I think National Institutes of Health, Eric Green, that in the future it's not going to be just like blood tests that doctors gonna order at on the first line, but there's also going to be sequencing. And I feel like the new technologies, the next generation sequencing and all the technologies that are at our hands right now will become way more useful, not only in the rare diseases but also in the common diseases. So either in the endocrinology and oncology, which is like part of the internal medicine, and so like biology related parts of the medicine, like research heavy parts of the medicine, I see a huge potential of medical genetics. And I don't know how much contribution I will be able to make. That's impossible to determine, but I would love to be part of this huge process where the science and medicine will emerge in a way that in the medical cabinet we will be able to use the artificial intelligence, next generation sequencing and everything to give the better diagnosis. And also last year I was at the conference in Budapest about the rare diseases, and one of the reporters of the conference said that there's a 6-year delay between the first visit of the patient in the clinic and the first diagnosis of the rare disease. And of the rare diseases have the genetic background. And imagine the 6 years, a person having no idea what is wrong with them. And there's a lack of medical geneticists and the specialties specialists all over the world, even in the Western society. So I feel that there's a call, there's a need, and I would love to be part of that, because that would change a lot of people. And even in my family, I had a case of a very rare disease, which is only about 200 cases detected in the world. And I saw the process of the diagnosis every day, and that the struggle was real. And if me and the people who think like me will somehow make it easier for them, I feel like my mission would be complete. And I this is like the vision I have, and there's nothing that can be on my way not to get there. And like whatever is within my power, like I'll use everything. So I know where I want to get, but I don't really know from which way I want, and I'll find my way there. So I think I'll figure it out.
I love the determination, and you mentioned the 6-year wait period before the rare disease is diagnosed. That's insane, and I really hope you can bring a change to that, so that more patients can be diagnosed early on and so much more change can be made. Hopefully, thanks to you as well.
If I make a little, even this much contribution, I'll be super happy.
Yes, and I'll be very happy for you if you do, for sure. Even more, not just this. Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of Faces of Semmelweis. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, give a like to this video, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and whatever other platform you can find us on. Make sure to press that bell button to get a notification when a new video is up, and see you in the next video.